What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. On my screen, you will be able to see all of my socials. So if you can make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you've got your notifications turned on. Any comments that you want to make, please feel free, leave them in the comment section down below. Also, if you could hype the video for me and like the video as well, I would greatly appreciate that. You will also notice that we are on your favourite podcasts as well. So on Spotify, on Apple, there's a couple of other ones that were on that I can't remember. So if you would prefer to listen to me while you're trying to go to sleep, ASMR style, then fantastic. Please feel free to do that as well. But if you are listening on those, please also as well give them a like rating for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really trying to get the podcast side of things just sort of moving up a little bit as well, so that would be great. So today's video is what do we need to do here? We need to have a bit of an up-to-date conversation about Jørgen Strand Larsen. Again, it feels like this is a bit of a never-ending merry-go-round, is probably a fair assessment of it. Now, I've been in London the past 2 days, stuff to do with work, and there's been little bits and pieces floating around, little bits that have been happening, and just trying to obviously disseminate all of the information is a little bit difficult. So this morning in particular, so this is being filmed on the 29th of January. This currently is 21:24. It's just ticked over 21:24. So this is the information that I have it as it is. So first thing this morning, Fabrizio Romano came out with a tweet that said, Crystal Palace agreed deal to sign Jørgen Strand Larsen from Wolves. Here we go. Transfer fee will be £45 million plus £5 million in add-ons. So they're talking about a £50 million package for Jørgen Strand Larsen. Story revealed this morning on bid improved, now confirmed, all agreed, club to club. Jorge Mendes negotiated the deal, now agreed in principle. It was then brought out with Sami Mokbel, who said Crystal Palace are set to table formal offer for Wolves striker Jørgen Strand Larsen. Molineux club want deal worth close to 55 million offered by Newcastle in the summer, but are open to selling. So as we kind of knew it, we were looking at it thinking, well, that's everything done and dusted. Everything was agreed verbally, and effectively, I think David Ornstein was saying the same thing as well, that everything was agreed verbally. They were just waiting for the written confirmation to come through for the actual player themselves so they could look onto that. So I think there was probably a bigger upfront fee and everything that goes with that as well. So we had offered 33 million, 0.6 million. So we were going to about 40 million quid, I think, in total. So this was an opportunity for a player who became available. We looked at it and thought, okay, we could do something with him. He could be a good target. Bearing in mind he got 14 goals the previous season, I think 16 G&A overall in his first season. It's not been as good for him this season, but his supply line that he would have counted on this season has been completely wiped out from underneath him. He's not played as much as well, so it's not been as good a season for him. And Wolves are in a bit of a predicament because they need to sell the player now, because if it gets relegated, then you're probably going to be looking more like 25, 30, maybe 35 at a push, maximum that they would be able to get for the player. I'm just thinking in terms of like Rutter and what we sold Rutter for. So fair play to Wolves if they, we're going to be getting that kind of figure, and you just think to yourself, well, that's it. He's going to Palace. Everything's done, dusted, sorted out. We don't need to worry about anything anymore. We've got a few days left. Let's move on to other targets if we've got any, or look at other areas, that type of thing. And then not out of the blue, because we knew it was it was in the offing, but later on during the day, Guessand from Villa was announced as being agreed as going on loan till the end of the season to Crystal Palace. And I'm looking at that thinking to myself, well, that's a bit mad. That's a hell of an outlay. I know they're only loaning him, but I think it's a loan with an option to buy. I know they're only loaning him, but that's a hell of an outlay. Guessand, Strand Larsen, and it's what's happening with Mateta. We still don't know what's happening with Mateta. I know Nottingham Forest have looked to put in a bid for him. Palace want 40 million. I think Forest offered 30, 35. I'm not sure. Milan are said to be coming back in AC Milan, that is, are said to be coming in with an offer for him as well. So that's still yet to be seen, and it's whether or not the Italian side can structure a deal to go with that as well. But you're looking at it going, so there's Strand Larsen, Guessand's coming in as well. What if Mateta doesn't sell? Then they're going to have a lot of players on the brink there. So I always thought it was going to be an and/or with Strand Larsen and Guessand. So it just seemed a little bit odd, and it was still that verbally everything's been agreed. It's the paperwork needs to be going club to club. So you thought it just all seemed a little bit odd, if that makes sense. It just started to seem a little bit odd. And then at around 4:30, the winds of change started to come into effect a little bit. Palace report said, doubts if Palace will proceed with £45 million deal for Wolves striker Jørgen Strand Larsen. Bid now in jeopardy after agreement reached over Guessand. So you're looking at it going, and these were just little rumblings that were coming around on Twitter. Turns out Fabrizio Romano deleted his Instagram "Here we go" post of Jørgen Strand Larsen. It's still on X, but he kept his Instagram version up. And you think, well, what's going on there? So they tag Jay Percy from the Telegraph in it. So did a bit of digging, found this little piece here from Percy. So it said, Crystal Palace have agreed to sign Evan Guessand on loan from Aston Villa with an option to buy the forward at the end of the season. And this is the interesting bit. The move raises doubts over whether Palace will still push ahead with a deal to purchase Wolverhampton Wanderers striker Jørgen Strand Larsen. The South London club were set to submit a bid of about 45 million, and sources have suggested that may now be in jeopardy after agreement was reached over Guessand. So this is where I was originally thinking this is all seems a little bit, there's a lot going on here, a massive amount going on here, and it all just seems a little bit weird. We then have, as well, you've got to factor in that Leeds United as a club have been extremely quiet about this, other than to just confirm that they've had interest and that a bid had been made with regards to Jørgen Strand Larsen. And particularly today, they've been literally squeaky clean radio silence. Farke's press conference was interesting, just when you do the reading between the lines of players that might potentially be coming in or things that might be happening. It was a very, very interesting press conference to me, the things that he said and things that he didn't say. Nothing was ruled out, nothing was taken off of the table, but it was all, there's all a little bit too much convenience, if that makes sense, when you look at the stuff that's coming out. Then, Talking Wolves came out with, Crystal Palace have communicated their intention to walk away from the deal to sign Jørgen Strand Larsen from Wolves. And that's come from Sammy Mockle at the BBC. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And then Adonis Stir, who was on The View earlier on this evening with Jer and Andrea, because I couldn't make it. Not saying that he was my backup, he wasn't. Just I wasn't there this evening, so it would have been nice to be there because it would have been lovely to talk to Adonis. After Guessand deal, Strand Larsen to LUFC is still a possibility due to doubts Palace can do both. So there's still an opportunity here. Then Ben Jacobs comes out with, and Alex, this is confirmed as well by Alex Crook, exclusive, Crystal Palace yet to submit their formal bid for Jørgen Strand Larsen, despite agreeing a £45 million plus £5 million fee. Transfer currently in doubt after Palace agreed a deal for Evan Guessand. Now, you sit here and think, well, if Mateta's going on, then surely that's not an issue. What I think here is it's potentially because they've agreed, because there's an option, it might be an option or obligation, not sure, that there's an agreement potentially in place for them to have to buy Guessand at the end of the season. So that amount of an outlay might not be what they originally want to do. Then you've got Zinny Boswell coming out and saying LUFC remain at the table for Jørgen Strand Larsen but will not go above 40 million as things stand. Crystal Palace were close to agreeing a 45 plus £5 million deal with Wolves earlier. Now the transfer hangs in the balance. Then you've got Graham Smith just backing that up, really, saying Leeds United's position on Jørgen Strand Larsen remains the same. Very keen, open to a deal that makes sense. Interesting to see what will happen or what they will do should it, or accept if Palace do walk away completely. Then slow Sky Sports news coming in with Crystal Palace deal for Wolves striker Jørgen Strand Larsen hangs in the balance. And then they back it up with this little bit on here. This is all stuff that we knew an hour ago and we're talking about. So well done, Sky Sports News, for being, finger on the pulse, guys. Crystal Palace deal for Jørgen Strand Larsen appears to be hanging in the balance tonight. Sky Sports News has been told that intermediaries have communicated to Wolves that Palace are ready to walk away. Now, thinking about this as an overall, I can't help but feel like Palace have kind of messed up a little bit on this one, or they've had a bit of a cock up. I think they were going for 2 deals, and somehow, but we're only maybe expecting to get one of them, but we're somehow, don't know how it's happened, but both of them have been done. They've looked at the facts and the figures of it all and kind of gone, ooh, not sure. I'm not sure how this one's going to be perceived or how this one is going to look now. What I have to say is, this could all be fluff and dust, boys and girls. It could all be absolutely nothing. And tomorrow morning, we could all get the thumbs up and the go-ahead for everything to be moving forwards. But at this moment in time, there are just too many people talking about it for it not to have some semblance of validity. And this is one of the things that I always talk about when it comes to talking about transfers and news and stuff. You have to be really careful with what you absolutely firm yourself up to. Because this morning we were all thinking that it was a done deal and all sorted out. This evening, none of us are sure anymore what's going on. Now, Wolves were in a very strong position originally, because what they wanted was what they ended up getting, really, was that they wanted a bit of a bidding war for Strand Larsen, and they got it. I say they got it. Wolves just came, Crystal Palace just came in and just blew everybody out of the water and just said, right, fine, we're going to pay X amount of pounds for him. And you think about it with the players that they've sold, people that are leaving, etc., so on and so forth, all of that kind of good stuff. They've got money burning a hole in their back pocket that they can put towards a deal for him. So they were in quite a strong position. Now, the issue is, for Wolves, and take Leeds being interested in him out of the equation, the issue that you've got now is that the closer this gets to the end of the January transfer window, Wolves will, desperate's the wrong word, Wolves will be in a position where they might have to take a reduced offer for him now that will be above what they will get for him should they be relegated. So current market value for him is what, 45 pounds, according to Wolves. If they get relegated, you can legitimately take 15 million off of that, probably 10 million off of that price straight away. So you're probably going to be looking at more 25 to 30 million for a player because of the relegation, because it instantly drops off loads of money. So now this puts bidding clubs in a bit of a stronger position. Now, interestingly, and this is one of the things when you look at it in terms of what Farke said in the press conference today, is that we don't want to talk about players because we don't want to put the price of that player up. Interestingly, Leeds will not budge on the 40 million offered, which, by the way, I still think is too much money. But Leeds won't budge on the 40 million that they've offered. So the longer they leave it, the more there is a possibility that it could go through at the price that Leeds wanted, unless somebody else comes in and offers that amount of money for him. Now, we do know that he is happy to come to Leeds. Obviously, his agent is happy for him to come to Leeds as well. So, all of that being what it is, I don't think there's going to be an issue with that. There is also a whisper that he is not sold on the personal terms side of things at Palace, which is really, really odd, because you wouldn't put forward a 45 plus £5 million deal verbally unless you've already sorted out personal terms. That's generally the way that it would work. Generally, you'd talk to the player, you'd sit down with the player and you go, right, okay, this is the contract that we would give you as a player. And the player goes, yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. Let's see if we can progress the deal. And it seems like there might be a bit of an issue with that as well. There's been some other mutterings on X that could be the case. So again, we just have to wait and see. And again, like I said, this is all, again, it's all hyperbole and hypothetical because this could all be sorted out in the next couple of hours. This could all be sorted out by tomorrow morning. This could all be sorted out pretty much straight away. However, Wolves are now not so much in the driving seat, if this is the case and Palace are walking away. Wolves are not so much now in the driving seat because their bartering chip, if you like, or the one or two teams that would be in trying to make that deal happen, it's now potentially just gone down to one, which then puts the ball back in Leeds United's court if a deal is there to be made. So that essentially is all of the information that we have at this current moment in time. We all thought it was now going to be quiet and, you know, just as we always think is the case, these are the things that always happen. It's Leeds United. It's never easy. So what I wanted to do is try and put everything together. And I've held off making the video, so it's a late one. I apologise for that. I've held off making the video because everything was so quick moving. You wanted to make sure that you weren't missing anything or you weren't not putting out the latest information. But this is all of the information that I could garner together sort of straight away, if you like. So we are, according to Graham Smith, we are very much still interested in Jørgen Strand Larsen, but we won't go above the amount that we've previously offered. It potentially looks like Crystal Palace are walking away, and I think it's because they've got a major twitchy bum because of how much they might have to do for Jørgen Strand Larsen as an outlay, plus also as well the option/obligation to have to buy Guessand at the end of the season, and also as well with other players that they bought as well. It's just, from a financial aspect, this might be why they're walking away. They might have absolutely bollocks this deal up by going for two, hoping to get one, but ending up with two, and then thinking, oh my God, what the hell is going on? So who knows, is the honest question. I just wanted to try and succinctly put it all together for you. I say succinctly, but this video is 18 minutes long. I'll probably get to 20, so sorry about that, guys. So, yeah, that's everything that we know moving forward. So I will try to keep you as updated as I possibly can with all of the latest information and all of those bits and pieces. I hate this time of year and I love it in equal measure because it's content, which is great, fantastic, but the rest of it is just like, Jesus Christ, can we just sort ourselves out on this one? Remember, yes, we do need a number 9 in my opinion, but Jørgen Strand Larsen is what the club would consider to be an asset target. So somebody who they would be interested in. It just so happens that he is available at this moment in time, which is the reason why, excuse me, which is the reason why we are where we are now. So, and for everybody that's getting annoyed about everything and saying we tried FC, just to remind you all, we were prepared to spend 40 million on him. We were then blown out of the water by Crystal Palace, who were prepared to spend 50 million on him. That's not us not trying. That's us having a limit that we are prepared to go to. Think of the Pai Zhao thing. That's the best way that I can explain it. That's going to do it for this one, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please don't forget to click the like button. If you're new, make sure you're subscribed, your notifications are turned on, all of that good stuff. Take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. I will have the preview of the Arsenal game coming up shortly as well. So much love to all of you. Feel your pain. I was ready to just forget about JSL, and now it would appear that we all have to be back in again. Take care. I'll see you all soon. Cheers.